What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ruxora, and here we do all things magic spell singers. Today we're doing another Commander deck tech, where I take a look at a submission, talk about the commander, the individual card choices, as well as the strategy overall, and at the end I'll give it a rating out of 10. But before we get into the heat of the video, if you enjoy the content, remember, like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really helps me out. And for this series, I do, again, take submissions. So I'm always taking suggestions or submissions. So if you have a deck that you want me to review or want me to look at, send it in. You can do so in the comments. You also do so in the Discord. There's a section just for this series. So yeah. As for today's submission, it comes from, again, friend of the channel, Professor Amateur. They've put another really interesting list that I was excited to feature, not because it's really powerful. This is not a CDH deck by any means. It's much more lower powered, but I would say it's probably somewhere in the mid to high power in terms of strategies or in terms of decks. But it also is just very flavorful, very cool, has a unique game plan. And is also not incredibly expensive. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our commanders. All right, so this is one of our commanders, which is Karlach, Fury of Avernus, which is 4 and a red for a 5/4 legendary creature, Tiefling Barbarian. This is from the Commander Legends Baldur's Gate set. It says, whenever you attack, if it's your first combat phase of the turn, untap all attacking creatures. They gain first strike until end of turn. You know, that part is nice and everything, but the real thing that we care about is after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. So basically, if you are able to play this and attack successfully, you will always get an additional combat. Note that this itself does not have to attack, but as you'll see in the gameplay, that is kind of what we're trying to do. And it has choose a background, which says you can have a background as your second commander, which is a series of enchantments, legendary enchantments. So this is Flaming Fist, so 2 and a white, so we're in Boros colors, as you can see. It says commander creatures you own have, when this creature attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Very, very interesting kind of pairing with Karlach here. Making Karlach attack like a lot, and also giving it double strike, as you can already see, is going to pack quite a punch. So you can already see this is a very combat centric deck that we're going to have here. If you're familiar with Voltron, with that term of kind of suiting up your commander and relying on your commander to do damage, it's what we're kind of doing here. So let's take a look at the deck list here. So as you can see, again, deck list is not incredibly expensive. Oh, does it have? Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize you could hover and do that. Cool. Anyways, yeah. Only about $600, which again is might be more expensive than some people are willing to pay for Magic cards, for cardboard. But in terms of comparing it to, again, the CDH decks or just some of the other decks that we featured, it is way less expensive than a lot. Also in the primer, they talk about how they tried to make every card $20 or less. That is the case except for, I believe, Jeweled Lotus, because that card is really needed for this deck, as we'll see. So yeah, so we have a Boros, basically Voltron, smash face deck here. So playing a lot of ways to make Karlach hit harder when you are attacking with Flaming Fist, right? So again, the goal is to cast Karlach, cast Flaming Fist, and then just beat down. So one of the interesting things here is Jessica Thrice Reborn, typically played in the command zone, but obviously we can't do that with Karlach and Flaming Fist. So here you can play it, use the zero ability on Karlach, and then it will attack and deal 15 damage every time it connects. So Flaming Fist, that'll be double strikes, will be 30 damage. So either have to block it or die. So very, very powerful play you can make there. Yeah. Zariel here is kind of just here for flavor, but also giving creatures haste is nothing to scoff at, right? This also gives an additional combat phase, right? First combat on your turn, untap target creature control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase if you end up ultimating it somehow. So, there for flavor, but it can definitely do stuff, right? In terms of things that help out the commander here, we've got Giver of Runes to protect it. I think Mother of Runes as well, right? To protect Karlach here. Let's see. And then we have a little bit of like an artifact, or sorry, equipment package here with Stoneforge Mystic, Stone Hero Giant. I think that are the main ones. I guess Eowyn does something, right? He gives First Strike and Vigilance. Not that great, but I guess helping equip abilities. But the big thing here are, again, we have Steel Shaper's Gift, excuse me, and Open the Armory to go and get a slew of some of the best equipments in the game. So we've got Umzawa's Jite, all of the swords, Sword of the Animus, Shadow Spear, this great sword, which I don't know what it does, but it makes stuff bigger, makes angels, cool, awesome. We've got obviously like Lightning Greaves, as well as, I assume, yep, Swiftfoot Boots is there. Another nice thing is I saw Lightning Spear, which, can sometimes be a removal, but really you're playing it to give your creature trample. So you give Karlach trample, you attack with double strike, and it's really hard to block. Same thing with this Hero's Heirloom. Obviously, Embercleave is a very powerful card people should be familiar with. Colossus Hammer, a little bit of a meme here, but I do think we have the Sigarda's Aid and things like that to help it out. I think that was all of like kind of like the really good, yeah, like this giving double strike, not as great. Like obviously, if you don't have Flaming Fist, you can do things. Let's see, Fighter class is another way to go and grab equipments. Oh yeah, Halvar being on the other side. Right, when the equipped creature dies, you return it to your hand, so you put that onto Karlach, and you never really have to pay more than 5 mana for it as long as you keep equipping that. So you can already, again, see how the equipment theme here helping us out. We have a couple of, what was I going to say, enchantments like Sticky Fingers and All That Glitters, but again, primarily trying to play the equipment theme. Beatstick, giving it Menace. Yeah, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Lots of equipments. There's some other creatures here that help us out, like what was I gonna say? Aurelia, right? Also does extra combat steps. Akiri is here for a little bit of card advantage. I think that's all the big ones. Mary here as more card advantage. Pure Steel Paladin. Again, if you enable Metalcraft. Also, equipments draw you extra cards. Same thing with SRAM. So you have a little bit of card advantage here with all the equipment. So again, pretty standard equipment deck. But again, just using it with Karlach. A really nice card that I wanted to point out was Single Combat. This Single Combat does quite a lot in this deck. Again, 5 mana for kind of like limiting everyone down to 1 creature or planeswalker. They can't cast any more planeswalkers until the end of your next turn, right? So you can play this, attack, and do a bunch of things. Notice that this doesn't affect equipments or enchantments or anything like that. So you can wipe the board and limit your opponents from playing things to block Karlach, and can really do a lot of damage if you set that up. So I really like Single Combat here. Obviously very flavorful in terms of like you trying to single people out with Karlach, but also again just really, really, really powerful. Oh yeah, sorry. We also have like some of the like flawless maneuver. This also gives an additional combat phase, right? So there's some cool instances here. Temur Battle Rage, I think everyone is familiar with. We have Pyretic Ritual and Seething Song. I'm surprised there's no Desperate Ritual in that case. If you're running one, I don't know why you wouldn't run the other, but maybe, I don't know, fitting everything in. Not a huge deal, but yeah, both of those helping you cast Karlach early. Again, we talked about Jewel Lotus, right? Again, very expensive card, but when your commander is 5 mana and you really want to cast it early and you're playing this aggressive strategy, you really kind of need to have it. I think that's all. Oh, sorry. And then there's sorry, I forgot to mention Enlightened Tutor when I mentioned Open the Armory and Steel Shaper's Gift. It's a little expensive, obviously, but it is the best type of card for this type of effect. Yeah. Is there anything interesting in the lands here? There's buried ruins to get back some artifacts. I think that's all. You have Homeward Path for obvious reasons. And then you have Slayer's Stronghold to give Vigilance and Haste in a pinch. And I think that's all that you can really do. Oh, sorry, Sunhome giving something Double Strike. So again, the primary game plan is, again, Karlach, but also you can just like suit up a bunch of creatures and do it that way. You know, when the going gets tough, you just suit up a big creature. But yeah, other than that, it's just kind of filler stuff, not filler stuff, things that kind of round out the deck. Lion Sash is another equipment that also can interact with graveyards. Loyal Apprentice is good at making a wide board and also produce flyers to block, some flyers. There's not a lot of things that can block flyers otherwise. White Plume Adventure is a slam dunk. This card's fantastic. And you'll have the initiative right a lot of times because you're going to be attacking people with Karlach. Fury of the Hordes is, again, just when you cast this for free and you have Karlach and you're in a good position, it's just going to be nuts. It's an interesting Jesk as well deck. I'm not even sure if it's really that necessary. I guess it's good on turn 3 when you can just use it to cast Karlach. Again, that's kind of like a better Seething Song sometimes. There's some artifact ramp like the Signets and Lotus Petals and things like that. I forgot to mention Ball of the Skylights. I love this card. It's a very fun card. You just put it onto Karlach, and you just have this huge flying beater in the air that's just really hard to deal with. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. So again, a very, very straightforward kind of game plan. There's not a lot of cards in here that are really out there. It's mostly a lot of things that you would expect to see in a kind of Voltron equipment deck. Yeah. So that's kind of like in terms of individual card choices. The game plan, again, overall, as we stated, is to cast Karlach as soon as possible. I will say I do think there are, like, I don't say there's not enough effects. It's just really tough in Boros to get enough effects to really ramp out Karlach as fast as possible. But yeah, I don't know what else I would put. Yeah, you have the Signet. Do you have the Talisman? There's a Talisman. Okay, there we go. I didn't see it. Yeah, if there wasn't a Talisman, that I would have suggested that. But I think there's literally every piece of artifact mana that you can put. Yeah, the only card in here that's not is I think Desperate Ritual, and I can understand why they might have omitted that. Other than that, again, the game plan overall is super interesting. Again, of just trying to have this huge barbarian just hit face. It's very flavorful. Again, if you know Karlach, just this huge. I guess it's a hammer axe. I don't actually know what's in the image there, but huge weapon there, beating face. So very, very cool. And again, I like that there were some things that they were able to include in this deck that were more for flavor, again, like the Zerial, but also, again, Zerial still being a cool card that I think can be helpful. It's not just like a dud, right? It does something. Yeah. Cool. All right, so that's pretty much it. I don't know if I have more explanations. Pretty short, explanation, again, just because it's a pretty straightforward deck. But yeah, in terms of a rating out of 10, again, putting together everything in terms of price, strategy, uniqueness, I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10. The big thing for me is, again, there's nothing really separating it from like other Voltron decks or just other equipment decks. The thing that's giving it a lot of points is, again, just the flavor and also the price and just like the succinctness of it, right? Giving this to somebody and saying, hey, your goal is to hit people with Karlach. The cards aren't fairly hard to understand. A lot of these cards just interact with combat. They don't have any crazy rulings on them. Some of them have a lot of text, like Sword of Forge and Frontier, but saying, giving this to someone and saying, hey, just put this on your commander and hit people, right, is obviously not super hard. So yeah. Oh, by the way, another interaction here, by the way, of like these swords, right? These interact on damage, right? These trigger then, and if Flaming Fist or something gives Karlach double strike, or any of your creatures double strike, then the swords just go off even more. So that's another like really cool interaction. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for this one. Again, I think it's really good. I don't think 8 out of 10 is a bad review. Again, it's just it's a nice deck that Professor Amateur decided to make. Again, primarily because of Baldur's Gate 3, as you see here. So yeah, I thought that was pretty fitting. I like when people do like these kinds of flavorful deck lists, but also keep things pretty streamlined instead of putting all these crazy cards or just these random stacks of piles of cards or whatever. This is pretty streamlined, pretty focused, but accomplishes its goal. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. A little bit of a short one today, but I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, remember, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, that really helps me out, lets me know what kind of content you guys are enjoying and wanting more of. So yeah, all right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.